Step right up, step right up, step right into another amazing show. And trust me, you will adore today's show. Yes, you. Auntie Miracle B is live on YouTube right now.
Really made. Yeah. Speaker bangers. I got it up the mind. I got it up the mind. Running up that beat of fish. First 10 days down, got a European. Hey. I'm trapping hard, I gotta see it. I done got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Hey. These niggas hate, I see it in. And now I keep it 30 with me if you run up on me. Hey. I gotta beat my shot spot. Really got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Hey. Trapping hard, I gotta see it. I'ma get it out the mud, cause that's all I know it, ayy. I'm really from the bottom with it. Stay 10 toes down, now you see the come up, ayy. I know some niggas hate to see it, and that's why I got a fully and them hitters with me, ayy. Goofy's tweaking, trying to pull it. We gon' put you on the news, tell them rest in peace, yeah. Running up that beat of fish. First 10 days down, got a European. Ay. I'm trapping hard, I gotta see it. I done got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Ay. These niggas hate, I see it in. And now I keep it 30 with me if you run up on me. Ay. I gotta beat my shot spot. Really got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Ay. Gotta feed my shutty spot. Made a promise to my sister, I'ma hold it down, ayy. These niggas switching like the season. I can tell you ain't my kind, you can't hang around, ayy. And we don't do the lame spot. I done got a lot of game from the OGs, ayy. Keep my eyes and ears open. Stay humble, fear nothing, always keep it G, ayy. I gotta feed my family partner. Yeah, I got it out the mud, got it out the mud. Yeah. I gotta feed my family partner. Gotta feed my baby boy and my baby girl. Yeah. Running up that beat of fish. First 10 days down, got a European. Ay. I'm trapping hard, I gotta see it. I done got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Ay. These niggas hate, I see it in. And now I keep it 30 with me if you run up on me. Ay. I gotta beat my shot spot. Really got it out the mud, yeah, that's how we do it. Ay. Yeah, I got it out the mud, got it out the mud. Yeah, I got it out.
Oh, what is going on, peoples? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Good evening, good morning, good night. I hope everybody is staying safe for this hurricane. I'm supposed to be getting some bad weather soon, but you know, it is what it is. I do think it's kind of comical, though, that all of the states that say that climate change is a hoax is always the ones having horrible weather and is ready to be blown off the map. I just find it to be comical. But looking at this video here, the get it out the mud thing, I wonder who house he was in, because in this house he had a backsplash. Hold on. Let me get back over here. I'm crazy. I never know what I'm doing. Okay, let me try this again. But he had a backsplash. Oh, it's another video. No, another video. Got this.
Really made. I'm
trying to get to. Oh,
these niggas hate. I see it. Yeah, that's how we do it. Hey.
Oh, he missing a tooth. Let me see. I wasn't trying to rewind it. I'm trying to slow it down. Can I slow it down? Oh, I can. Oh, okay, good.
Trying to put it. We gon' put you on the news, tell them rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Running at that finish. First 10 days now, got a European. I'm trying.
He missing a tooth. Dang, man. And then y'all know this jacket is pleather. This is plastic pleather. Where is he at? Look, you got a backsplash here. He's got stainless steel appliances. This looks like government housing to me. Where is he at? Where? I look like it's somebody old with these curtains, but I was wondering where he got stainless steel appliances from. And this money that you got, who money is it? Because I know it's not yours, your broke ass. Anyway, y'all, welcome. Yep, it is the same spot when Nature Boy's missing that tooth. Who, Marcus? Not the dead one. Not a magical Marcus. He can't be at the imaginary friend house. Oh, let me close this one. Anyway, y'all, welcome. It's so good to have everybody here today. Oh, either Airbnb, it's possible. Just like Nature Boy. Anyway, I'm going to bring you guys today. Oh, thank you, Nakaya. Hey, Nakaya, Vicky, Monica, Chantal, Charlene, Deb, Vizini, Charlene, Raven, Sasha. I saw Bright Street earlier. Sharia, Lisa Ann, Super Kelly G, Gambini, Gambini, or Gambling. Well, yeah. You. Kayla is never a mannequin. Della, Daniel, Berry Sports Highlights, and Stephen H. Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see all of you today. Hey, TY Roll with OCOV. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. So we are going to get into day 2 of the trial. And I was also going to play a little bit of his sentencing for his domestic violence case with Erika, since day 2 is the Erika Patterson day. So I felt like it was only appropriate. So I'm going to skip what the attorney said, because I read that statement when I did Master Bitch Theater. So we're going to get into dumbass's self-serving response. And he's a magical 13-year-old son now. Child, we're going to get into that, Vicky. So let me go ahead and get the party started. Then we'll get into day 2. All right. Nakay? Okay. Oh, sorry, Munchkin. I'm not trying to run over your tail. All right, let's get the party started.
All right. I've taken a look. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Jones.
Well, look, I mean, the elephant in the room is what? 6 life sentences in Waukesha, right? So when we look at this, I'm not saying this is an academic sentencing, but in a large part, it becomes academic in terms of the outcome for Mr. Brooks. But I think what's interesting, and I think the state fairly points out, that Mr. Brooks could have simply just had a trial, could have put the victim through more.
Of course, Paisley's here with me. He's always here. He's my little furry shadow.
But I think because Mr. Brooks recognizes that these circumstances warranted him to plead guilty. Now, look, the maximum possible penalty for the court here is 10 years in, 10 years out. And I don't think a max is warranted here. I think if we looked at this case in isolation and we didn't have the Waukesha case, we'd be arguing something very different. But we do.
That's a good point, y'all. His wheelchair says drive. I'm telling you, I've told y'all this before, and it bears repeating. There are no such things as coincidences, only synchronicities. What are the odds he be in a wheelchair that says drive when he is responsible for trying to kill Erika Patterson multiple times, mind you, in his mama's car, and killed 6 people and ran over dozens more, driving his mama raggedy piece of shit car? It's amazing.
Do have that. That's certainly a backdrop the court gets to consider and quite frankly should consider.
Oh, hey, muffins,
but when we
Mimi.
look at those things, I don't think these facts, setting aside Waukesha, warrants the max penalty. I don't think his criminal history prior to Waukesha, which of course these instances predate the Waukesha.
So I don't know if it's a jail thing, but ever since he was sentenced, he's been coming to court in a wheelchair. I don't know if it's a security precaution or if he's medicated. I don't know. But ever since the sentencing, he's been coming in strapped into a wheelchair. I guess it's best for him.
Waukesha incident warrant a maximum sentence. So then the question is, what do we do? Well, first of all, from an academic standpoint, we have 946 days credit on the intimidation. We have 1,008 days credit on the underlying case. 18 days of those are completely independent credit, even if you run it consecutive. In other words, from November 2nd, 2021 to November 19th, 2021, he was in on just this matter, or strike that, on just 4596, which is 18 days. He then went back in on December 20th, 2021 through today's date, which adds another 990. By my math, that's 1,008 days total. I'm just putting that in the right spot. Then he has the 946. If you run the 2 consecutive, then I guess you would subsume 1,008 days on the one and not on the other. But that's what the numbers compute to with respect to credit. With respect to this incident, yeah, it's certainly not a case where I think probation is appropriate. Obviously, you got to consider that. I think that's easily dismissed given the seriousness of the crime. I don't think Mr. Brooks would even think that this is a probation case. But I don't think it warrants the maximum. What I'm going to propose the court do is I'm going to propose the court do 4 years in and 4 years out on each case. But I think the court run them concurrent. So that's close to the maximum on each one.
Make sure we smash that like button.
Intimidation. Even though it's phone calls, I don't think it's of the most egregious nature of an intimidation that we've seen come through these courts. There wasn't any sort of external efforts to physically thwart the witness, or some of the times when we see those efforts, these were phone calls. I understand the state views them all clearly as manipulation, but again, they're not at the high end.
He's 40, over 40, was still with wisdom teeth? Really? What am I saying? I mean, it's not like he was one of those that was going to the dentist on a regular basis. We can tell by the color of his teeth. I mean, his teeth are gray, so clearly there's not an amount of regular brushing, cleaning, regular maintenance. And
how do we set some?
I have to say that is kind of it's a male thing, but it's also a Black thing. For some reason, going to the dentist is really not as high on the priority list because we like to pretend like we don't get sick. We got to be in pain to go. And of course, of systematic racism in medicine. And, they don't tend to take our pain as serious as others. So, yeah.
You'd like to tell me?
Okay, hold on. We're going to the main event. We'll slow this down. Oh, I want that playback speed. All right, normal. Let's get into these lies.
First, I just want to thank you for how you've handled this case. It's been three long years
Oh,
that I've been coming before you now, and just want to
come on, bitch. Spit it out.
tell you that throughout these 3 years,
Hey, Michelle.
this matter has affected the people that matter most to me, namely our children too have been affected by this. It's kind of like a rift. This situation happened with the mother of one of my children, and
Say her name, ho. Erika Patterson. Say her name. Say her name. Say her name. What? Oh, there you are.
coming from a broken home
Hey,
myself
Ian.
with those types of issues that my mom went through.
Hey, Nene.
I think I have a better understanding at this point now of the way that these can affect kids growing up.
So you have said multiple times that your father was in prison in your life, and that how much it affected you. Remember when you was in trial and giving your little sob 2-hour long montage of bullshit. You said, my children, and I grew up and I had cockroaches in the cereal bowl and seeing how my mom had to work 2 and 3 jobs. And it was a chance for me when my baby, my daddy's girl was born. It was like I could make up all the mistakes of my past. And bruh.
I want to say that I take responsibility for my actions fully.
Do you apologize, though? Did you apologize? I take responsibility for my actions fully. Did you apologize? You can't take responsibility for your actions if you don't apologize for what you did. You do something wrong, you say, I apologize, please forgive me, and I take full responsibility for my actions. That's how it's supposed to go. But we know how Darrell is.
I'm not gonna hide behind anything. I'm a man up.
Oh, for once in your life.
In these years, I've made the choice to
be a bitch,
to look at those things and decide for myself that the cycle stops with me. I have
well, bitch, it started with you, so yeah, it's gonna stop with you. You are the alpha and omega of fuckery. Yeah, your own fuckery. You made these choices. You knew that you were a bitch, and you was trying to control your bitch, and you couldn't control your bitch. So then what you do? You bitched up and got in the car and tried to run over and tried to kill her. And then thought, oh, I could probably get away with this. Oh, you didn't even go that far into your thought process, did you, bitch? No, of course you didn't.
2 sons, and I definitely wouldn't want them to be involved in anything that would hurt people they love, or, when they have children, for their children to be hurt in those ways as well. So that's part of the reflection that I've been doing.
Wonderful.
I've also, well, it's been difficult because of my situation in prison to actually get things done because of my custody status, but I've taken the initiative to program in those areas.
Wonderful.
Dealing with domestic violence issues, childhood trauma issues, things of that nature. I'm doing fairly well with those.
It would have been nice if you did that before you were in prison for 1,300 years, now wouldn't it? It would have mattered then. But I guess you need to have coping skills for when you are, bent over a partition in the jail library. So I'm sorry, the library. So I guess you do need to know how to relate to your prison boo. So yeah, I guess this would be appropriate for you to do.
Which is something I never had, growing up, and just to have the opportunity to look at better ways to deal with frustration, deal with anger, to deal with understanding. I do also want to say for the record that this is the only type of domestic violence issue that I've had that was any type of personal relationship, and from the aspect of someone that I have a child with.
Okay.
Yeah, from that aspect.
The Wood County person was a personal relationship, but you did not have children, correct?
It was not somebody I knew very well. It wasn't a relationship. It wasn't a romantic relationship type of thing.
You knew each other.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. We did know each other, not very well, and there was no romantic connection with that situation. But like I said, Your Honor, in these 3 years, it's about trying to do what you can to, progress and move forward. And the biggest thing for me at this point is, to move forward. I obviously can't, change the past at this point. People will see me how they will see me. I accept that. But I do want to say that outside of my other matter, I just want to not have the weight of that so much be the narrative in this. The whole time I've been coming before you, I think there was some concern about how I would present myself. I made it my point to show you that this wasn't going to be more of the same. I've done my best to make sure that I've respected Your Honor and, your court and everything like that. And to try to show the growth that I have been working on in these few years. And I guess to show more a different side of me, more a side that I'm moving towards, the side that I'm on the path towards. And, you know, and that was a goal of mine, to make sure that I didn't make your job harder than it needed to be.
How wonderful.
And
Hey,
outside of
Monica.
that, I just,
Hey, Mike. And Copying Chaos. Welcome, welcome.
you know, want to set my other matter to the side and just be fairly judged on this.
I mean, you're still a piece of shit regardless, though. I mean, whichever the other matter. You mean, you know, the convictions, plural, that you have about, what is it, 176 convictions in the other matter? Why don't you just say, you know, you're a convicted felon and your ass belongs to the state of Minnesota? I mean, you are a, you know,
You know, and that's why I thank you for the way that you've handled it this entire time, because I can bet you probably like, why is this guy still on my docket at this point?
yeah.
You should have been out.
More like, why is this guy still on this planet at this time? How come he has not been taken out yet at this time? I'm pretty sure Jackson Sparks' mama is thinking that, or his dad is thinking about that. We're thinking about it again with its upcoming holiday season. We had another season that they won't have their little boy. Why is he still on this planet?
Past this by now, but
Right.
I think the length of the matter to my favor gave you more of an opportunity to see, like, you know, this is the road I'm going down now. And unfortunately, my situation is what it is. But I know I'm on the right path.
Oh.
Thank you for your comments. So
No apology.
whenever I sentence anyone, I need to consider three separate things: the gravity of the offense, the protection of the community, and the character of the defendant. To address your kind of last point first, I live in the world. I know what happened out west of here. But from the very first appearance you made in front of me, that was after that, you have not been the person that we saw on TV that was there. You have acted absolutely perfectly fine in this court.
Oh, heck,
And I
yes,
want
yes.
you to know
Got
that
it.
I appreciate it.
Mhm.
There are security measures that are in place with the sheriff's department based on those issues. But you have never acted up in court. You have never been disrespectful. You have never done anything. You are an absolutely different person as you deal with this court than you were as portrayed out there.
Thank you, Chantel.
And I recognize that, I appreciate that, and I absolutely am separating these issues. These incidents, the initial incident and the intimidation that took place thereafter, took place prior to what happened in Waukesha, and you will be sentenced simply on those. I don't ignore them, they exist, but you have, it is not my issue, that is their issue. So, having said that,
Mm-hmm.
I am extremely pleased in what you have demonstrated over these past 3 years with me, because I believe that
She look like, I don't know
you
what to
are
say.
on the path that you say that you are. Russ,
It's
Can you get him tissue from
I know.
Mr. Torbenson? You have an empty box in front of you, I believe.
He is not crying. Oh, Lord. No tears, please.
The problem is, as I have to sentence you for these offenses,
What type of a gangster thug are you to be in court before nothing's even been done or said, and you are breaking down in tears? What type of... So that's how we know that he was a fake thug. I mean, we knew it anyway. That's how we knew he was a fake thug. Thugs don't do this.
I have to look at your behavior for these offenses. I have a question for you before I get to my comments from that. In looking at your record, something jumps out at me.
Hey, is that his Bible right there?
You have a number of offenses starting in 1999, all the way up to 2011. Some gaps.
His crime history started at 99. I was a freshman. I was just starting college in 99. His criminal background goes back to 1999, before Y2K.
What happened? What were you doing between 2011 and 2020? Did you live here? Did you live somewhere else? You don't seem to have any criminal contact. What were you doing?
Pumping and dumping.
I did live out on the West Coast.
Is that when you had that was a 2007 Nevada case? Were you in trouble out there, or were you living?
No, I was thriving, Your Honor.
Thriving.
I was thriving. I was working. Had a great relationship with my children.
Lies.
How old are
Thriving.
your children?
21, 17, 13, and my youngest daughter just started taking last week.
Wait a minute. Huh? 21, that's Xavier. 17, that would be our son away. The 10-year-old would be daddy's girl, Mitzi. Who was this 13-year-old son? Where he came from? Hold on. What is 13-year-old? What happened to the newborn baby? You should have. I thought you had a baby. He should be 3. Hold on. Okay, hold on.
21, 17, 13, and my youngest daughter just started taking last week.
Where this 13-year-old came from? Where did it come? Where? Y'all, where? What? Is a 13-year-old Magical Marcus? A 13-year-old? Where? The baby boy gone.
Which is the one that you shared with EP?
My 17-year-old
Hey,
daughter,
AKA Shaza. Hey, Robin.
who started to spell me college. I'm missing it.
Well,
Bitch, you missed everything. You missed her. You missed any type of interactions with her entire life. You missed your son. He hates you. Our son away doesn't like you. Missy, because of you, she was in the foster system. And then this 13-year-old child, God only knows where this one came from. You tried to kill your nephew, you tried to kill your mama, you tried to kill Erika Patterson. So we're talking about all of these things, and you're over here crying about you're missing her go to college. Were you going to be there on campus to help move it? Hell no. Were you there to help your son with anything? Nope. Remember when you said you help get him through high school? And I'm like, when the hell did that happen? Because you never did anything for him. You didn't pay your child support because you still are in arrears. That's why you didn't have a driver's license, because you was in arrears for not paying your child support. You ain't supported none of these children. Anyway, let me go on.
You are.
Hell.
But that's
so proud of her.
that is an amazing accomplishment.
And if this is true that Arsenaway is going to Spelman, starting college, that's wonderful that she was able to do that in spite of you. In spite of you. So if it's true, I applaud her for going ahead, having her baby, and pushing ahead, going to school, getting her education, because she does not want to be like you. That's motivation for me or anybody, really.
Glad to hear that.
She graduated a year early because her academics was so up to par.
I thought she dropped out of school.
I didn't get the chance to see her walk across the stage.
Oh. Okay.
Sounds extraordinary.
Thank you, Robin.
All right. So you were doing well.
Do y'all know if she is going to college? And she may not be going to Spelman, but is she going to school, period? Or is she just, working and raising the baby, the alleged son, which would be the grandson? That's the 3-year-old. So, man.
Right up until you weren't. So looking at this,
Come on.
it strikes me that you don't have a relationship that goes on for 17 years, or roughly about thereabouts. And the very first incident of violence between the two of you results in you following her to a hotel, banging on her door. And when she tries to get away from you, following her, cornering her, punching her in the face, and ultimately running her over.
Like, who does that?
That was absolutely outrageous. And you are
A piece
so
of
very lucky
shit.
that it was her leg versus her torso or her head, which would have killed her likely.
Hey, Chris.
Your behavior
Hey, Monica. Welcome, welcome.
was so outrageous that it can't be downplayed.
At all.
And I look at that in isolation. I look at that as this is someone whom you've had a long relationship with, whom you have created a child.
Hey, China.
And you disposed of her as if she were
Not shit.
roadkill.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Oh, thank you, Chris.
behavior by itself is outrageous. Then you factor in the intimidation. The quotes from that those jail calls, not the usual. Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of intimidating jail calls that involve, let's be together if you want us to be together. you have to get this
Yes,
drug
China.
so we can beat it. And I can show you how very much I love. I've heard that a million times on jail calls. But when that didn't seem to work, you doubled down and intimidated her in such a manner. Mr. Jones may say it's not the worst because there wasn't any follow through, that nobody followed her from her house to court on the day she was supposed to come and
Y'all make sure y'all smashing that like button whether you come in or out, please, and thank you.
testify and ran her off the road or did any of those things. Of course that could have happened, but we were 10 days out from the incident. There was no trial at that point. Who knows what may have happened at some point. This is the very first part where the only thing you're in control of is trying to get her to call the police, call the DA's office and say, I'm not in, I'm not prosecuting. So that was what you had at your disposal, was just to so berate her and so humiliate her and scare her. So as to get her to do your bidding. Because you're locked up, right?
Forever.
So you can't get her. But what you did was you told her, I got guys. I got guys who are going to get you. The minute you walk out your house, they're going to get you. If I wanted you dead, I'd kill you. You'd be dead. That is a horrible, horrible way to live. Because she may have 99% thought you were full of it. But that 1%, when she hears a noise in the house, or sends your daughter off to school, I'm your daughter in high school, half an hour late coming home from school, I'm talking with her friends, busy, whatever. And what does that do to EP? Oh my God. Did someone grab her? Is this it? Did he call his guys? Because I didn't do his bidding fast enough. That's absolutely horrendous behavior. And it is who you were. It's who you demonstrated yourself to be. Whether that was the full content of your character, I can't speak to. But on those days, that's who you demonstrated yourself to be. I very much hope that you are on the path that you described. Because you likely have a very long life ahead of you. You spoke to your prisons, your custody status. Are you held in segregation? Are you by yourself? What goes on there?
Housed in SIG.
You are.
Yes.
I appreciate the efforts that you're undertaking to better yourself, to say, this is not okay. And I've got to figure out why I thought it was. And if that is going to come through classes or anger management or reflection, as you put it, all the better. I have no idea, nor am I considering what's going to happen with appeals and all of that sort of thing. But you have to live with yourself.
Okay.
And getting right with yourself is going to serve you as well as humanity. So the first thing, as Mr. Jones mentioned, is that I need to consider whether probation is appropriate. No one's asking for probation. Probation is not at all appropriate here. So I reject that. So this will be a prison sentence. You asked, and I promised that I would take this as it was for itself, and I will. This incident happened before Waukesha, and I don't mean to, by any sense, give short shrift to what happens there, but this is what is before this court. So I do believe that this is a prison sentence. I also adopt the state's theory of these are separate acts. Your behavior in what happened at that hotel and then following her to the gas station and running her over was one day. And then you came to jail, not in the situation any further, not faced with her, not presumably in the midst of anger. You may have been angry about a variety of things, but not in a face-to-face, we're having an argument, anger. And you opted to violate the court's orders by contacting her, by contacting your mother and putting her in the middle of everything, and contacting EP directly and saying the things that you said.
Oh, well, no, the mother was not put in the middle. The mother was involved. She's a co-conspirator. She's an unindicted co-conspirator. She was passing this crap along, and she knew that he was guilty. She knew the type of monster, the type of hell spawn that she birthed into the world. She knew.
Which were horrible. And I suspect she will never forget them.
Forgive who?
Because after a relationship of that length, you may be a voice that is in her head. And I'm
Erika.
very sorry for her for that. Conditions of time that you are serving will include absolutely, positively no contact with EP. You have said that your child with EP is 17 years old. The state is not seeking a no contact order with her, are you? With the child?
No.
No, I'm not going to do that.
The child doesn't want to have anything to do with you, sir. And who can blame her? Who can blame her for someone to disregard their mother that way? That would tell me this is how you treat women. You don't respect women, period. So why would I want to talk to you?
She's about to start college. She will be in charge of whether there will be any contact.
You got much.
There is a request for restitution. Have you gone over that, Mr. Jones?
There's a stipulation on that.
Okay. Restitution in the amount of $656.96 will be made payable to the Crime Victim Compensation Program. You will have to pay the DNA surcharge as well as the domestic abuse assessment and any mandatory costs, fees, and assessments. I'm going to waive any non-mandatory.
Don't he already owe like $1 million in restitution? They just keep on tacking it on.
You don't have the ability to pay any more than you are going to have to pay. So I will waive those due to your inability to pay. What I have ordered will be due and payable from your prison funds at a rate to be determined by the Department of Corrections, then will be payable as part of any sort of extended supervision that you're released on. And if you are, if it's not paid by the end of extended supervision, it will convert to a civil judgment. You are now a convicted felon. You may not possess any firearms. You cannot vote until your civil rights are restored. This was a violent felony, so you may not possess body armor. And if you violate that no contact order, you could face additional charges. I am going to order strike that. I'm going to encourage you. And I say this because of your custody status. I'm going to encourage you to participate in any sort of programming that is available to you. I'm not ordering it because it may conflict directly with your custody situation. And I don't want to put you in a situation where you cannot do something that I've ordered because of your custody situation. So I'm going to encourage you to take domestic violence intervention program.
And what about Moz post my Cash App?
Anger management, and individual therapy. Whether that will be made available to you as part of your prison sentence, I don't know. If for some reason,
I would do my part to find out. So
I know you will. If for some reason
I'll do it myself.
you are released on extended supervision on this case and released into the community, those will revert to being suggestions to orders. Okay?
yes, ma'am.
So if you're released, they will be court orders then, if you have not already completed them in your prison setting. So now I need to turn to the amount of the sentence. As Mr. Jones noted,
That's my
This
Cash App,
was-
Sharia.
punishable by the possibility of
My big boy. My good sweet boy.
10 years initial confinement and 10 years extended supervision as totals, if I ran them consecutively. I do give you credit for entering no contest pleas to these charges and not putting EP through a trial. I do take into account the entirety of your situation. Therefore, I am going to sentence you as follows. On 21 CF 4596, count 3, the second degree recklessly endangering safety with the domestic abuse enhancement, I will sentence you to 9 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 4 years and 6 months initial confinement, and 4 years and 6 months extended supervision. On 21 CF 5020, count 1, the intimidation of a witness, I will sentence you to 9 years in the Wisconsin State Prison, 4 years and 6 months initial confinement, and 4 years and 6 months extended supervision. Those counts will be consecutive to one another because they were decisions made on different days. You made volitional decisions to engage in that behavior on separate days. And it will also be consecutive to any sentences that you are serving from any other jurisdiction. That is the judgment of the court. You do have the right to appeal my sentence, and Mr. Jones will go through those rights with you. I wish you well, Mr. Brooks.
I don't.
Judge
Wish
the
you-
credit.
Pain and death and
He does not have
destruction.
credit given the way
Well, he
that
would
I
have, he would have
structure. 18 days credit on
45.
Can he win an appeal from Judge Darrell allowing him to defend himself? It's possible. It's highly unlikely, but it's possible. It's possible.
596.
Yep. 21 CF 4596, 18 days independent credit on that one.
Because she ran a consecutive. Because she ran a consecutive.
No, it doesn't, but I have to mark something. Oh, I have found, based upon the seriousness of these crimes and the way that I have structured the sentence, as well as the entirety of the situation, that you are not eligible for the challenge incarceration program or the substance abuse program.
So, Judge, it's the court's position that the 990 days from December 20th through today's date, he does not get because he has those on the Waukesha case, given that it's consecutive, correct?
I believe so, yes.
That's your order.
Yeah.
So I'm a little confused, Your Honor.
You were held on bail on those cases, on the Waukesha cases, because you were sentenced there first. Presumably you got sentence credit on those. If I'm wrong on that, your post-conviction attorneys will file a motion.
Bitch, you remember you had a year of time served. A year. Why? I mean, like, what is the issue? You're in there until the end of time. Like, literally, you're never leaving. And then once your worthless carcass finally dies, you're going to decompose in a wooden box, a cardboard box, in an unmarked grave. Nobody gives a shit. You're still going to be here. When the aliens invade Earth, you're going to still be here. When the sun dies, the solar system dies, and it becomes a white dwarf, the sun becomes a white dwarf, and all the planets are kicked out of the solar system. You're still going to be here.
Okay.
But because of the way I have structured them, that it's consecutive to those, you don't get credit twice. So I think you got credit in Waukesha. So I don't give you credit now because one comes after the other.
Oh,
Since the 18 days.
What?
I think I was.
Except for the 18 days when you were
Hey,
held
Ruby.
between the time you were arrested and you bailed out.
Oh, she's calling the DOCO correct.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the 973-155 statute. That's the way I looked at the time served.
Oh, we still playing attorney. We playing. So he has what did he want? He wanted a co-counsel. So now he got his wish. He co-counsel. Okay, then go ahead. Tell us your interpretation of the statute. Go ahead.
The Wisconsin statute 973-155, 1 in subsection A.
Okay, I appreciate your position. I disagree. So if there's a post-conviction problem, your attorney can file a motion. Okay? All right. Good luck.
Just so you know, I filed it all already. I filed all your post-conviction already. Okay.
Oh, bye, ho. But this is Bible. Are you kidding me? He got a brand new Bible. And look, it looked like it hadn't been cracked open. That Bible looked new. Look how pristine that book is. That book hadn't been open. There's no crease. There's no crease here. This book is pristine. He got a pristine Bible. Thank you, Sharia. I appreciate you. A pristine. All right, so we've seen this dumbass. Let's go ahead and get started with day 2, the Erika Patterson day. Oh, Lord, have mercy. This the dumb Darrell we know. That Bible brand new. Why he keep with it? I mean, at least with this one, this Waukesha County Jail Bible, I mean, we knew that it has been read at some point because it's the jail Bible, but yeah. Let me speak this on alone here. Go. Oh, what'd I do? Okay, there we go. Yeah, go ahead and get the party started. He's sitting here like, okay, let me see what I got here. What words can I say? What's in the Sovereign Citizen Guidebook I can use today? Look, I got this line
We are on the record. Calling State versus Brooks, 21 CF 1848. I have the state appearing by District Attorney Sue Whopper, Deputy District.
Yeah. Hold on. No, okay, here we go.
Attorney Leslie Basie, Assistant District Attorney Zach Witchow, and I have the defendant Darrell Brooks appearing in person.
He looking like, ho, don't call my motherfucking name ever again.
I have the jurors coming in a little bit later today, so I'm not, but they usually come early, so I'm not sure if they're here. But I did want to make sure and ask if there's anything the parties wished me to address this morning. I don't believe there's been any new filings. I haven't seen any, but I did want to ask.
Oh, Pookies and Paws. You know, my husband's nickname for me is Pookie. I'm Pookie and he's Sweet Pea. Sometimes it's Mean Pea and he acts up sometimes. But usually he's Sweet Pea. And of course, you know, Paisley is Munchkin.
State, we would just like to make a record with regard to the concern Mr. Brooks had yesterday about the juror that he believed he recognized.
Have you noticed that her makeup doesn't quite match her neck? Those of us who know makeup, you know, there's a thing called the line of demarcation when your skin tone is different. I never noticed that before, and I can tell whatever she got on is ugly because whatever this is, this looks awful. This is like some mess that she got on. I want to see what she wears outside of the robe, but this looks tragic from just a little portion I can see. She need to borrow Judge Judy's doily.
From his initial appearance that may have made some type of hand gesture to him. I did not, unfortunately, write down the juror number.
Does that win? Let me
I
see.
don't know what the juror looks like, but I couldn't associate it on my chart. Do you recall the juror number?
I'd be guessing. I think I know what it is, but
Okay.
I don't want to be
Sure.
correct on that. But we can have the civilian bailiff provide us with that information.
I don't know if we want to do have that juror come out just to confirm. I know that the juror told the civilian bailiff who informed the court. Our concern is we certainly don't want Mr. Brooks to keep raising issues with regard to specific jurors, and we start using those alternates up. So I guess I'd prefer to be on the record that juror was not at the initial appearance. I know that the three of us were at the initial appearance. There was an older woman who did, I ended up talking to her during the proceeding. She was not the juror that was described yesterday, or that I saw yesterday with the clothes that Mr. Brooks indicated she was wearing. So I just really would like that to be put on the record that juror, in fact, was not at the initial appearance, and have her come in, provide her name, and do that.
I think Zach is on the ballot, so he'll probably be on the ballot in November, the November 5th ballot. So but I'm looking at his website, and Zach, he's so cute. He got a picture of his wife and his children, and they got a little dog. A typical political ad. You don't want to have the, I like to, rob and I'm a black Nazi. You don't put that on your campaign, information. But his wife is pretty. The kids are cute, and the little Shih Tzu they have is so adorable. Anyway.
Yeah. Where's your number? Not her name.
So my understanding is that.
Yes, he is a Heritage Foundation. Yes. Unfortunately, that's all of these are Heritage Foundation people, unfortunately. But outside of that, they did a good job here. They may have questionable other points of view, but they did good here. So I'm going to not take it away from them.
Following what Mr. Brooks described happening at the initial appearance, there was a woman that one of the deputies spoke with and warned her.
He definitely wanted
that
to
woman
see
may
her.
have been in the gallery on Monday and was warned about behavior then. I have issued an order. She is not allowed back in these proceedings because of that. I believe we know her identity, and I can tell you with certainty it is not our juror. So, and if there's anything else, any other requests?
I know the woman that flipped him off because you can find the video on YouTube. It was a white lady, an older white lady who was sitting in the first couple of rows, and she flipped Darrell off. I saw it. Now, I don't know what the jurors look like, but you know, there's a stereotype. Some people say that I've heard white people say that all black people look alike, which I find that to be odd. But on the other side, some of us say that all white people look alike, which again, it's a bit odd. But maybe if you are, allegedly deaf in one ear, and then you're always high, and you're an idiot, and you're always crying, and maybe the tears, blocked his vision, and he couldn't see, so he just saw, white lady, and every white lady is the I don't freaking know. I'm trying. I
don't think it's necessary to bring that juror out, given that record, but I will certainly do that if the state feels.
Yes, he does look good in blue.
Understanding or confirmation at this point.
He looks better in black, though.
To know if her full number is the first 41. Mr. Brooks actually was in court on day 1 of jury selection. I know for a fact. I'm looking at my notes. It's unclear to me if he was present at any time in day 2 of jury selection. I know he was in day 1. So he's claiming that he was.
Of course, he tried to cause
At the
confusion.
time, obviously, if it's a juror from day 1, he was able to see her because he was in court with her. So that would also be something. I guess if we could establish that she was part of the first 41, then I think the record is clear that the defendant was in court when the first 41 were brought out, and therefore he could have objected at that time.
I will get confirmation of the number, and we'll go from there. As well, any requests as relates to that, Mr. Brooks?
Before I get to that issue, Your Honor, if I may, I would like to.
Oh, hold on. Let me slow him down. Playback speed normal. All right.
State for the record, and would like the record to reflect that I personally don't identify by that name. I am here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as an authorized representative for my client. I accept for value, in return for value, all the charging instruments in this matter, and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
Your statements are noted for the record, sir.
He was itching to say that. He's been itching this whole time to say this. I had a supervisor once, and one of her phrases she used to say all the time was, y'all tell me what's on your bird, what's on your mind. He wanted to get this off his bird. He was trying to get off his little bird chest. I'm a third-party intervener in that matter. I accept for value in return for value. And I don't dispute any of the charging documents. Basically, you're telling everybody that, yes, I'm guilty. I don't dispute any of the charges, but I'm just here just for shits and giggles.
All right, as to the issue of the juror.
As far as the issue of the juror, I was maybe briefly present when the first wave of jurors were brought in. I didn't recall really
Debbie,
being
and
in
no,
here long enough to really.
Hell no, Deb. Dawn did not bring her stank ass down here once to support her bastard son. Not once. Probably because she knows that she probably get arrested and put in handcuffs or put on the stand, and she was going to perjure herself because she is partially responsible for this. Like, I wonder, why has she not been sued yet?
Get a look at the jurors coming in, because I was removed at that time. Actually, either they were coming in or shortly after they were brought in, I was removed. I definitely was not present for the second and third wave. I was in the other courtroom, so I can't see the jurors from the other courtroom on the monitor, so it wouldn't possibly be that I would have seen the juror that I was referring to yesterday.
Understanding that that may very well be true. My recollection is you were removed pretty quickly due to an interruption early on. I don't have my notes in front of me as to when you were brought in or not. But I am advising you that I was able to confirm with others, including law enforcement, that the juror that you suspected was the woman who made an inappropriate gesture toward you at the initial appearance. They are not the same individuals. I've been able to confirm that. I know the identity of the woman who did what you said, and it is not this juror.
Is there any way that I can be sure of that?
Do you want to have juror? I think it might be 41. I don't want to guess. But I can bring that juror out when the jurors get here, and we can have her under oath testify that she was not at your initial appearance or any of the proceedings in this case. I'm able to do that.
That would be helpful, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All right. Can we check to see where they're at and if they're here? And if so, to have that juror brought out. It's probably best we have a record of that juror number with specificity in any event.
Your Honor, the only concern I would have, obviously, we may know that there's one person at initial appearance who made a hand gesture. I just wanted on the record that if there was a second person, it's not the juror that's impaneled in this case.
I'm not aware of another.
Nor am I.
And let's speed this on along here.
I'm not interrupting that.
Oh, God dog it. There we go.
The juror will be out momentarily.
Go ahead, Mr. Brooks.
I would like to state for the record.
Yes, Chantal, he is.
The prosecution seems to be saying this with firsthand knowledge.
You referring to the issue we're talking about right now?
Correct, Your Honor.
Bitch, because they were there. They were there. You were there. Y'all were all there. All of you were there. Judge Darrell was there. Jason Statham was there. Zach was there. They were all there. That's how they had firsthand knowledge, because they were there.
Is there a question with that, or I'm not understanding why you're raising that at this moment?
Well, I'm raising it because the prosecution said that, and they stated that they knew for a fact that this juror is not the juror that I'm speaking of.
I said that.
Well, the prosecution said it too, Your Honor.
I provided the information, said I've been able to confirm the identity of the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you at your initial appearance. And then based upon the informal questioning of the juror that you suspected was that, determined confirmed that she was not that individual. And then subsequent to confirming that informal information, I was able to do some additional questioning of law enforcement and others to determine the identity of that other person and confirm, in fact, that what you said happened, but it's not this juror. But we're going to bring that juror out just so you can, or I will, question her about that. So there's a very clear record that your concern and whether one of the jurors on this panel was at your initial appearance and made an inappropriate gesture can be put to bed once and for all, so that you're satisfied they are two different people. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Shut up.
Yes,
Just can sit in the jury box. She's a juror. She may be put under oath and questioned, but she's a juror. And so no one can film her, or take her photograph. Go ahead. She can just sit in one of the spots in the jury box. All right. Good morning. You can have a seat. I just want to put on the record, this is juror number 41, and you are not in trouble. We just have had an issue come up, and we wanted to make sure we all had accurate information. At any point in time, did you attend any of the proceedings in this matter regarding Mr. Brooks?
No.
Were you ever at the initial appearance for Mr. Brooks?
So Super Kelly G, the reason why he thinks everyone's a liar is because he's a liar. It's classic projection. He's a liar. And he likes to gaslight the courtroom. He likes to gaslight everybody. It's nobody's fault. I mean, it's not his fault. It's everybody else's fault. He's the victim. I hate people like this.
All right. State have any follow-up based on that?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, any follow-up based on what I've asked this witness or what I've asked this juror? Sorry.
No.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, look, I'm a red. I'm a unnatural redhead. And I have been told that this red is like me. It's like my signature color. But whatever was going on with Don Wood's hair, I can tell that it was not done professionally, number one. And number two, no, it did not suit her. She got like a millimeter of hair. And then it's just, it was just bad. It was just a nightmare. It was a bad version of pubic doll hair that she got up there. And then she was like, I'm going to stick some cherry cola red shit in there. And I'm going to let it ride. And I'm going to have this cheap ass jacket with fur. And then have my mess sticking out of the fur. It was bad. Oh, it was terrible. So us unnatural redheads do not claim Don Woods as part of the family.
And I'm going to wait till she's back out of the courtroom because there's a hallway behind me, and then ask a follow-up. Are they gone? Mr. Brooks, we brought out juror number 41. Was that the same juror that you initially suspected was someone who was at your initial appearance?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was definitely clown
And
color
again,
hair.
She denied. She said she told us she wasn't there. And I trust that satisfies your inquiry into this issue.
I'm still a little leery, but
So bitch, what you thought was going to happen? Did you think that because you claim that you recognize this juror, that they'd be like, oh, well, let's go ahead and dismiss the whole jury and pick a new one? Is that what you thought was going to happen? He probably did think that was going to happen. That's probably on his little cheat sheet over there. Or maybe his mama or the mama's boyfriend was like, hey, tell him that the jury flipped you off, and maybe they'll get a new jury.
Okay.
I say that.
No one cares.
Go ahead.
I say that because I don't forget faces. I don't.
All right. I understand what you're saying, but the record is made clear, and I'll make a finding.
I hope you remember Jordan Sparks' face. If nobody else's face, I hope you remember his face. That was on your hood. I'm sure you remember him. Bitch.
That juror number 41 was not at your initial appearance and is not the person who made an inappropriate gesture to you either at or following that hearing.
Y'all, please forgive me. I'm terrible with names. If I see a name and it's similar to another name, like I have a coworker, his name is John, but I always call him Josh. I don't know why. So that's why I always do the Jackson. I call him Jordan. I don't know why. Jackson. I'm sorry, y'all. Little Jackson Sparks.
All right. Then any other issues from the state?
Yes, Judge, just briefly, a few. From yesterday's testimony, we'd like to move into evidence Exhibit 1, which was the map. Exhibit 3, which was the video played during Corey Runkle's testimony, and Exhibit 5, which is the photograph of Erika Patterson. They were all testified to yesterday.
Any objection? Mr. Brooks?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess it would be to the terms of relevancy. There's been no testimony from Ms. Patterson, so I'm just curious to know the relevancy of that BMA evidence at this point in time, because from what was said yesterday was that she would be testifying at some point. Would it not be better to have that admitted then if she decides to testify instead of right now when we're not even sure if she is going to testify?
Oh, I'll
Your
check that out,
objections
Vicky.
are noted for the record. There was a proper foundation laid regarding each one of these.
Sharia, stay out of Z Outlet. I know you don't go to the Z Outlet in Hoover, do you? Over there by on Lorna Road.
Exhibits. They
Exhibits.
also are relevant to the issues within this trial, and I'll admit exhibits 1, 3, and 5, and also advise the jury when they come back into court this morning.
Your Honor, I'm not interrupting, am I?
Hold on, I'm not to you yet. If there are any issues, any other issues from the state.
Yes, Your Honor, I would just like the record to indicate that I understand we did not follow up with this after the lunch break on the record, but it was my understanding that Mr. Brooks did receive the medical attention that he was seeking over the lunch hour. So I just wanted that on the record. And then finally, Your Honor, just a reminder to Mr. Brooks as to the other acts evidence in line with his questioning of Corey Runkle yesterday.
They're trying to help you
Erika
listen.
Patterson will be testifying here this morning. The court issued a ruling as to the other acts evidence. The state strictly abided by that. Mr. Brooks came very close several times to opening the door to that testimony. We treaded very lightly on purpose to be respectful of the court's ruling, but the court warned him twice. Mr. Witchow even personally went over and warned Mr. Brooks during Ms. Runkle's testimony.
It was wow.
And before we start another round of challenges potentially during Ms. Patterson's testimony, we just wanted to make a record of that so that Mr. Brooks knows if he opens the door to that other act's testimony, it will come in.
And I appreciate the state raising that as well. Mr. Brooks, on the issue of medical attention, did you see the jail nurse or other medical personnel during the lunch hour yesterday?
Yes, I did. I received a cleaning of my cut and a bandage.
Right in time for
Thank you.
Halloween.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was getting to the other parts of the injuries. They
Oh boy, bye.
viewed the bruises that I have on my arm and legs as well.
What?
I don't know what's going to happen behind that, but I was looked at.
Good for you.
All right, thank you. Does not appear to me that any of these injuries are interfering in any way with your ability to be here today
Hey, EM.
assist in your own defense.
WR.
So that's good.
Yeah,
Welcome.
I'm just a little tender, just a little sore. So.
Oh, this bitch is a little tender and he's a little sore. Oh, you're going to be tender and sore a lot. You're going to be tender and sore for about 1,000 years. Hey. You're going to be tender and sore. You need some of Puppy's thousands of bottles of baby oil where you are, sir, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you understand what the state is referencing as it relates to the other acts evidence?
I do not understand.
Do you recall being in court at the end of August when the court addressed a number of motions, including a motion brought by the state to admit other acts?
He's doing rock hard time. He's doing rock hard time.
And with all respect, Your Honor, this whole process is very, very new to me. So I'm trying to
It shouldn't be.
I guess
Hey,
stay
Venomous
within bounds
Vortex.
of the questions that I'm allowed to ask. If I color outside the line, so to speak, it is not intentionally, because I'm basically learning as I go.
So I'm going to have my clerk print out the motion for other acts that was filed by the state, along with the response that was filed by your attorneys at that time, and further advise you the court did not grant the state's request to admit other acts as it relates to your conduct with Erika Patterson prior to November 21 of 2021.
So what they're trying to tell you, sir, ma'am, is let's not talk about the 77th charge because we're not prosecuting it. But if your dumb ass brings it up, then we'll discuss it. But we can't discuss it. This is simple. This is simple. Even Paisley understands this.
And your questions yesterday of Ms. Runkle could have opened the door to the court revisiting that issue. That's why the court stopped. It was interesting. Ms. Runkle clearly was advised not to talk about other acts. The state followed the requirement that they advise their witnesses about the court's order as it relates to other acts. And I believe I kind of paused twice and said, are you sure you want to answer that? I referenced generally some prior rulings so as not to alert the jury to anything more than that. And then at one point, Attorney Witchow also came over, muted your microphone. I don't know what was said, but my understanding is he basically kind of gave you the same caution. There's a ruling, something to that effect. And I know you didn't proceed with the questions that you had originally attempted to ask this witness. So it's very clear what we're talking about. Again, I'm going to give you these filings so that you understand what I prohibited in this trial. And the record should reflect those filings are being provided. Madam Clerk, do you happen to have the document numbers for those? Sorry, I should.
170.
Document 170.
Oh, Sharia, you're a cutie. I got all the pretty girls in my chat.
And 161. 161. So documents 170, 161 were provided to Mr. Brooks. So the only other thing I'll say on that, sir, is if you ask questions, I'm not going, that would open up the door potentially, or at least ask questions that call for answers that might fall within that order that I issued. You do that at your own peril, and you may open the door to the state bringing in other witnesses and other testimony about those issues. So I want you to be advised of that. You are correct that when the state made the request, I prohibited the state from introducing that evidence. So you're not incorrect when you say I didn't, when you kind of referenced about there's a difference between me prohibiting you and prohibiting the state. But from my perspective, the order that I issued was to your benefit. And so you can ask those questions. You're not prohibited, but then you potentially open the door to that information becoming admissible in this case. So I want you to be advised of that.
May I quick, Your Honor?
Go ahead.
I'd just like to say that I accept for value in return for value these filings. I do believe that I have a little bit more clarity, if that helps.
Thank you for putting that on the record. Do you have any other issues you want me to address?
Just very, very quick. I still don't understand the nature and cause of the charges against me, Your Honor, and I still would motion for, or tennis motion for the jurisdiction to be proven.
Oh,
subject matter
Lord.
jurisdiction.
Yeah. For the record.
And also a motion for finding of fact.
Your requests are all noted for the record, and for the reasons previously stated on this record, I'm not going to answer those requests any further. They've already been denied by the court. I'd point you to the case of, can I have my Post-it note back? The Beneby decision at 654 F 3rd 753. All right, anything else, sir?
I'm not interrupting, am I?
No, I'm asking you a question.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I would like the record to reflect, is that a judicial determination that you are making?
Your Honor, Mr. Brooks, the record speaks for itself. I've made my decision. We're moving on. All right. With that, then, state have a witness available to be called.
We do. Would you also just make a record, Your Honor, this morning that Mr. Brooks does appear again in his orange jail uniform and that he was offered the ability to wear street clothes and declined that offer? Also, he does have appears to have all of his discovery materials at the table with him.
Yes, thank you. I should make a record of that as well. I didn't state at the outset, Mr. Brooks is here in person and in custody. He once again has come to the courtroom in jail attire.
Harsh times. Am I going to do Sarah Boone? I don't know, because I was more entertained if she was going to represent herself. So I'll just see if I am going to cover it. If it's going to be like a regular trial, I don't know. I might. I do plan on giving some commentary on the YSL thing. And I'm definitely more so going to focus on Attorney Love and her being completely over her head with this trial. And she deserves to be roasted quite a lot for being an idiot.
I presume, Mr. Brooks, but please confirm for me you were offered the opportunity to change into street clothes.
As I stated on the record yesterday, I'm waiting for the results of the COVID test that I took. So until I get those results back, I would prefer to not wear street clothes at this time.
All right.
The
Can
dumbest
you
shit I've ever
for me,
heard.
though, that you were provided an opportunity to change into them if you so chose?
And not to my knowledge.
Sir, I'm providing you with that opportunity right now. If you would like to change into your street clothes, into the suit and tie that you had previously, or any other street clothes, I would give you that opportunity. Did you hear me advise you of that just now?
I might consider it. Maybe I may have more information from the medical staff once we take a break, or maybe I'm anticipating. Well, actually, I anticipated that I would know before we even started court. So
Do you want me to have the bailiffs ask the CO if there's any new information that can be relayed to you before we bring the jury out?
That would be helpful, Your Honor.
Do you have any objection?
Zini is
I
crazy.
could email the jail administrator if you want, or I can just simply have the bailiffs do that.
Whichever works best for Your Honor.
All right, let's see. She's not going to give me information in an email, that much I know, but I could at least find out if there's new information. If there's new information, then it's going to have to be given to you directly. That may require you to be taken into the holding cell to be given that information, okay?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Let me just continue that. Again, right now he's in the jail attire. We're going to give him an opportunity to see if there's any update regarding the testing that was done earlier this week. And until we at least get word whether there is new information or not, we'll not bring the jury out. I will make a record that Mr. Brooks does have the 3 boxes that have been referenced previously. I see the objection sign. I see the selected statutes that the court provided to him previously, and I see he has a number of papers in front of him. So he looks as if he's prepared to participate meaningfully today.
Can I say something real quick for the record, Your Honor?
Sure.
I did bring these boxes up. I have not had the time to go through everything in there. As you can see, it's a lot. That's putting it minimal. A lot. So I have.
Well, it's because you did a lot of stupid shit. That's why it's a lot. You did a lot of dumb shit. You killed a lot of people. You harmed a lot of people. You injured a lot of people. So you got all these boxes. But again, you're in your cell 24/7, unless you're in court. What is the reason why you can't read anything out of these boxes? You could have at least gone through one. Stop it.
Not had the time to go through everything that's in there. I'm winging it, Your Honor.
We know. Who is Donna Adelson? Somebody fill me in on who that one is. I haven't heard of Donna Adelson, I don't think.
Deputy Wittig, any new information? Yeah. All right. Well, can you provide that? Well, let me just see. We'll just do it. All right. All right, the information that I have on whether there's new information is they don't have the results, but medical will be called again to check on that to see if anything new, any new information is available. But as of right now, there's not. I also was advised that you were offered 3 times to have street closed by Officer Gabor. Just want to make a record of that. All right, then, Mr. Brooks, we don't have apparently new information. I intend to just continue then, okay?
Really quick. To the decision of Your Honor for me to be removed from the proceedings over the last few days. That
okay.
Used from the Illinois versus Allen, right?
Correct.
Come on, Black Lock.
I also had cited to a case that I believe is on point, although not binding on this court. I am persuaded by the reasoning in United States versus Jennings, found at 855 F Sup 1427, which is from 1994, from Pennsylvania. And as well as, just that one. That was affirmed by the Third Circuit in United States v. Jennings, 61 F 3rd 867, Third Circuit, 1995. So the first decision I referenced was a federal district court decision, and then the Third Circuit decision. Let me know if you need those citations again.
He won't read it. Don't worry about it.
Does any one of those mention the being present through audio and visual?
Yes, audio. In other words, the defendant in that case, who also was a pro se defendant, was removed from the courtroom after he said he would continue disruptive conduct in the presence of prospective jurors, but he was able to continue to listen to proceedings through loudspeakers and transmit messages to the court, was barred. And what the court held is he was barred from the proceedings by his own conduct, not by the court, and the conviction in that case was affirmed.
You
want
don't
that
understand none of
citation
that.
again?
No, I'm not interrupting, am I?
No, go ahead.
I do represent myself pro per. I would like that stated for the record.
No one
like
cares.
the record to reflect that. Not pro se.
The record will so reflect your choice
Hey,
of
Daquan.
term to describe your appearance today.
I've briefly read Illinois versus Allen. It didn't say it didn't give any reference at all to him being present by audio or visual in that case.
Are you serious? They hired Latin kings? Really? Wow. That's wild.
Whatsoever. It just strictly talks about the reasons that he was removed and the options that the judge had in that.
Right?
One of them being that he could be bound and gagged.
Okay.
One of them being that he can be held in contempt.
Okay.
And removed from the courtroom while the trial would continue, but it did not say anything about being present visually or audio or by audio.
Is Princess the black lady who said that she was like 70 years old, but she's like visually in her 30s, probably? Is that who Princess is? If that's Princess, I'm definitely gonna be checking for her.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you reading the case, sir, and providing that information. I'm well aware of what the case says. And as that case says, the Supreme Court talked about there would be no one formula for maintaining the appropriate courtroom atmosphere, and no one formula will be best in all situations. But the Supreme Court said this: we think there are at least 3 constitutionally permissible ways for a trial judge to handle an obstreperous defendant like Allen, going through the 3 things that you identify. And my findings here are that there's a 4th way, and that's through the wonders of technology that weren't.
See, she done fucked up. She fucked up. Because she said, I find there's a 4th way. But the fact that they said that the trial will continue while the court is, he could be removed, but he could participate being in a separate courtroom. She really did not have to go any further, because he is the type of person who hears one thing and then he takes it, and of course he doesn't understand what he's hearing, but he wants to take it and manipulate it and spin it for his own purposes. And so we've heard that over and over and over in this trial, and we'll hear it again as we continue on with the trial playback, that her making that statement is a problem, because he's just like it's like a case of herpes. It keeps coming up, it keeps coming back.
Available in 1970 when that decision was authored. So I appreciate the notation on the record. You are here today, and I hope you stay here today. That's certainly my preference. You've demonstrated you're able to prepare, you're able to ask questions, you're able to articulate in a clear, coherent, cogent, and responsive way. And
I'll take a look. Check it out.
That's what we're going to do next.
Hey,
interrupting real quick. I just want to say something very quick to that.
Very quick, sir.
I don't see that 4th way, Your Honor. Also, when
Mr. Brooks, my decision stands from previous. If you believe there's any error that I made, that is for you to address if there is a conviction and on appeal. But my decision stands, and the record speaks for itself.
May I put on record that I intend to appeal that judicial decision, Your Honor?
Understood. You may appeal as you deem appropriate.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's bring the jury out.
Hey, look, she got a Yeti. That's the original. Let me see. Yeah, that was the original cup. So it was Yeti, and then it was Hydro Flask, and now everybody lost their mind over Stanley.
I will ask everyone stand for the jury out of respect for them.
Look at this bitch. The jury The jury that's deciding your fate. I don't give a fuck. I ain't finna stand for none of these crackers. Shit. They better stand for me. Let me fix my shirt. These fucking white folks. Bitches. All these motherfuckers here. I ain't finna stand for them bitches. Fuck that shit. Bring y'all decrepit white asses out here. I got other things to do. Let me see what's going on. Let me see what y'all doing in this court. I'm gonna look to the screen. See what y'all doing. I'm ear hustling hard. What the court saying? What y'all saying? Y'all plotting some white folks shit, ain't you?
Poor guy. So I'm going to send you this email. I just need the cases printed off. I don't want to interrupt with printing here. Or do you want to send it to the?
All right, let me get
I'm
my
not gonna
papers
send it.
together. Let me get my papers together.
For it, so.
I'm ready. Everybody else still standing. Y'all stand for me. Oh, look at my boy in the corner.
Next door. Then we can have Andy go and grab it.
I mean, you can see the seething anger on him. It's like it radiates that anger, and I don't blame him. I'm with my boy. That anger, I mean, he is mad. He wants to jump across the table and his computer screens at Dusty Darrell. He ready. Yeah, let me get my papers together. I'm doing some serious work. Oh, I got the red notebook out. I got some serious work to do. I'm working. I ain't opening up this book though. The book I need. Yeah, I'm counting all my papers, making sure y'all here. Gotta make sure y'all here. All my sovereign shit is here. Cause this ain't gonna go down the way y'all think it's gonna go down. I'm gonna be leaving. Y'all can't prove I did none of this. Cause y'all don't have jurisdiction over my black ass. Yeah. I don't know what I'm reading, but I'm gonna pretend.
See that when you come in.
Y'all know I'm smart. I'm smart and I'm kind.
And good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Welcome back. Have a seat, and I'll make sure looks like you all have your writing materials to take notes if you so choose. For the record, I have received exhibits 1, 3, and 5. With that, the state may call its next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Erika Patterson.
Dun, dun, dun.
Good morning, Ms. Patterson. If you would please make your way to the witness stand, which is upper riser and to my right. When you get there, please raise your right hand. My clerk, Teresa, who's standing over here, will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Thank you. Have a seat. First thing I will have you do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Okay. Erika Patterson, Erika Patterson.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Patterson. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Sorry.
All right. Can you tell us, do you know a man by the name of Darrell Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that the court have Mr. Brooks temporarily remove his mask.
Mr. Brooks, you're advised to remove your mask, please. Thank you.
Ms. Patterson, do you see Darrell Brooks in the courtroom today?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
On the left side, and he's wearing an orange shirt and a mask.
It's not a mask, it's a dirty face diaper.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant.
Ooh.
The record will reflect that this witness has identified the defendant.
Can you tell us how long you've known Darrell Brooks?
Since I was 15.
How old are you now?
32 today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you.
What's the nature of your relationship with Mr. Brooks?
We have a 15-year-old daughter together.
Okay. In what state did you meet Mr. Brooks?
Reno, Nevada.
And when did you come to Wisconsin?
Last year, 2021, June 13th.
Why did you come to Wisconsin?
We were coming out here. I was going to be out here for 2 weeks and go back, but I never went back.
Who did you come to Wisconsin with?
Darrell Brooks.
Where did you live when you got to Wisconsin?
Atlanta, Georgia. Or we lived with his mother, sorry.
Mr. Brooks' mother?
Mm-hmm.
In what city was that?
Hold on, was that a yes?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's what my job is, to make sure their record is.
Yes, ma'am. Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. At some point, did you stop living in Milwaukee and start living in Waukesha?
Yes, I did.
Do you remember approximately when that timeline was?
November 2nd, 2021.
Okay. Where were you staying in Waukesha?
The women's shelter in Waukesha.
That's downtown?
Yes.
Don't be looking off, bitch. Tell us all the reason why she's there. Because of you. You tried to kill her. Don't be looking off, hoe.
Do you know a person by the name of Corey Runkle?
Yes.
Where did you meet Corey Runkle?
The women's shelter.
Were you roommates?
Yes.
I want to direct your attention to the date of November 21st, 2021.
Yes.
Did you know anything about a parade happening in Waukesha that day when you woke up that morning?
I didn't know about the parade.
Okay, what about that afternoon? Did it become apparent to you that something
Yes.
was going on?
Yes.
Hey, Jeff.
Did you come into contact with Darrell Brooks on the afternoon of November 21st, 2021?
Yes.
Where did you first come into contact with Mr. Brooks?
At Frame Park.
And how did that come about? What were you doing and why did he get there?
We were messaging and calling each other all day. We were arguing back and forth. He came out there. Well, I told him I was with Miss Corey, and he came out there. I told him where I was. Got in his car. We drove around, and then I forgot the street. We went up that street. It's a hill. It's kind of by the Walgreens. We went up that hill. We drove around. Me and him got into an altercation. He hit me in my eye. I jumped out of the car, walked and found my way back by Frame Park. And then he followed me there. And then I went back in his car. I got out and I had called Corey. Well, I called Corey before that. And she came to meet me. I told her that me and him got into an altercation. So she met up with me. And by the time she got there, she pulled me out the way because his car turned around. He swerved. She pulled me out of the way. He got up his car and they got into an altercation. He pushed her in her face. And I don't remember if she hit him back or anything that we walked away and walked back to the women's shelter.
Okay, let's go back and go through some of the details of that, all right?
Yes.
You said that you told Mr. Brooks that you were hanging out with Miss Corey.
Yes.
Were you hanging out with Corey Runkle earlier that day?
Yes, her and her friend Nick.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were with those two?
Is at the Frame Park because we had split up when I met up with Darrell.
Okay. Do you remember what you were doing in Frame Park with Corey?
We were just hanging out.
Okay. Any alcohol involved?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you
They had
remember?
like a Mike's Hard, the little Mike's Hard beer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you say that you were intoxicated after consuming one Mike's?
He's like, that bitch. I told her dumb ass not to be drinking. And she know that her motherfucking ass shouldn't have no alcohol.
Hard beer?
No, it's not.
Okay. And at what point did you split up with Corey?
When Darrell was on his way, Corey and Nick had left. So I sat there and waited for him. We were still arguing on the phone, but I waited for him.
And you were in Frame Park?
Yes.
How did Darrell arrive? That is, he didn't walk to Waukesha.
He drove in his mother's car. It was the red, was it a Ford, I believe? I'm not sure what kind of car, but it was the red.
Had you seen him driving that car on previous occasions?
Yes.
Had you ever been in that vehicle before?
Yes.
When you were staying with Mr. Brooks' mother, were you staying in the house?
No.
Where were you staying?
We were outside. Sometimes we'd sleep in that car.
He got his hands all balled up like, bitch, if you say something wrong, ho, I'm gonna get you. You remember what this fist tastes like? You know what it feel like, ho. You better answer right.
Because his mom, he was not allowed to, be in the house. So yes.
And you slept in that car with Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
That was before November of 2021?
Yes.
Okay. Describe for us what happened when Mr. Brooks first arrived in Frame Park, when you first saw him that day.
We were still arguing, pretty much. He was already in a bad mood when he met up with me anyways.
This is an argument that face-to-face using words, not messaging,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get in the vehicle?
Yes.
Okay, and what happened next?
We drove around and were arguing, and that's when we got into the altercation in the car, and that's when I jumped out. We were up the hill.
Do you remember exactly the route that the two of you took while you were driving around?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
Yes, I do. I'm not sure the exact street names. Like I said, I'm not from Waukesha, but I do know the route.
After, the next day you met with Detective Steve Guthier, is that right?
Yes, it was the same day.
Okay. And you got in the squad car with Detective Guth
Oh, that was the next day, yes. Sorry.
and showed him the route that you took with Mr. Brooks?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right. You described going up a hill, right?
Yes.
Did you cross the river before you did that?
No.
Okay. What happened once you got up at the top of the hill?
He drove up farther more, and then that's when I jumped. It was on the up the hill. It was farther more, and then that's when he hit me, and I jumped out of his car. Well, his mother's car.
Where were you sitting when he hit you?
The passenger side front seat.
Where was he sitting?
Driver's side.
What did he use to hit you?
His hand.
Was it an open hand, a closed fist?
Yes. What was it? Like this, sorry, like his open hand.
Okay.
But it was hard.
So the record should reflect that the witness raised her right hand and
Yes.
kind of waved it almost like a back slap?
No, harder than that.
Okay. What did you do after Mr. Brooks struck you?
I cried, and then I just jumped out of the car. And then going towards down the hill, that's when he was following me.
Describe how you were going down the hill.
Walking down the hill.
And how was he going down the hill?
Driving.
The red Ford Escape?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
He just followed me all the way to the park.
Okay.
He tried to take my phone from me at the light going down the hill, and he just kept following me and arguing with me out the window.
Do you recall being near a gas station while this argument was happening?
Yes.
Objection, irrelevant.
Yes.
Hold on. Overruled. She may answer, and the answer she provided may stand.
Yes. It was right at the light. The gas station on the, oh, that's a gas station on the left, and then Walgreens is towards the right.
And do you remember what was being said at the gas station?
I do not remember.
What happened when you got past the gas station?
I kept walking. He was still following me.
Did you at any point attempt to contact anybody for help?
No, just Corey, but towards the frame park. That's when I called her, when I got closer to there.
Did she answer?
Yes.
What did you say?
I said, he just hit me. And I said, I need you to meet me. And that's when she met me.
Where did you go?
I walked past Frame Park and I went.
He looking at her like, I can't believe you do me like this. I can't believe you do me like this. I ain't do nothing to you. I love you, babe. I love you, baby. I can't believe you do me like this. Why you gotta do me like this?
I met Corey, and I got into his car and then got back out, and I met Corey at White Rock School, I believe it is.
When you say his car, you're talking about who?
Darrell Brooks.
And were you familiar with White Rock School at the time? Did you ever
No.
been there before?
No.
You just know that from
That's
talking about this afterwards?
Yes.
What happened when you got
You know you
to
want to
White
beat
Rock
her right now.
That's when because I had got there, got back in his car, talked to him, got back out. Corey had met. She snatched me out of the way because he swerved his car when he made a U-turn. And then that's when he got out of the car and they were arguing and he hit her in her face. And then I think she pushed him back. I don't recall. And then I was trying to split them up at the time. After that, we just kept walking and went to the women's shelter.
Who's we?
Me and Miss Corey.
Madam Clerk, could we please have the state's rear table projected for the witness?
Hey,
Ms. Patterson, I've projected on the screen in front of you a video marked as State's Exhibit number 4. Do you see the screen?
Yes.
Have you seen this video before?
Yes.
What does it depict, or what's in this video? What are we going to see here?
You're going to see me walking, and you're going to see him turning the car back around and Corey meeting up with me in the altercation they had.
Does this video accurately show what happened in front of the White Rock School on November 21st of 2021?
Yes.
Move Exhibit 4 into evidence and request permission to publish.
Any objections?
Yes, we haven't even played the video. How do we know what's even in the video at this point?
Idiot.
Can we see the video before it is admitted into evidence?
Your objection is noted. The foundation has been laid. Exhibit 4 is received.
And permission to publish is granted.
Can we also shut off the I think it's the Polycom system that's
Oh,
taking
yeah,
up
we
that
certainly
screen?
can. Yep.
There you go.
All right, we're going to play from a timestamp of 51 seconds in this exhibit. Actually, can we pause quick? Paused at 1:04. And just to clarify, Ms. Patterson, we're going to watch portions of the video. We're not going to talk while it's playing.
These are awful.
And then when it's paused, I'll ask you questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's resume at 1:04.
Look at this home.
Let's pause.
Now Erika
Pause
was
at
wearing the
1 minute
boot,
and 37
so
seconds.
you know
Ms.
he had
Patterson,
to be. She had to be
who
scared
did
to
we
be
see in the
walking that
video that are
fast.
walking?
Me.
Okay. And we saw a red SUV, right?
Yes.
Who was driving that SUV?
Darrell Brooks.
Was there anybody else in the vehicle at that point, to your knowledge?
Nope.
Okay. Let's resume playing.
There she is crossing the street right there. Those two probably, they could have been going to the parade.
Let's pause there.
That's Corey and Nick.
At 4 minutes and 17 seconds. The two people who just entered the screen from the right, do you know who they are?
Corey and Nick.
Do you know which is which?
Corey's on the left, Nick's on the right.
Let's resume playing.
And they was rushing too. They was worried. And that was Dusty right there, I think. There go Dusty again. I think she was trying to get her stuff out of the vehicle, out the vehicle. I wish that we could hear what was being said. That would be great. I mean, I know it's all type of bitches and shits being said. I don't know where Nick is, if he's locked up or not. I haven't heard anything about Nick. Hey, Sweet Pea.
At 6 minutes and 3 seconds. Ms. Patterson, we watched the video, but you were there. Can you tell us what was happening during that portion of the video we just watched?
Corey and Mr. Brooks were arguing, and that's when he pushed her in her face, and I don't recall what she did back, and then that's when he drove off. One of them, I think it was Nick, called the police, and that's when he drove off.
Do you remember what Nick said when he called the police?
I believe Nick said he had a knife, if I recall.
Sorry, y'all.
But he didn't have one, but that's what Nick said on the phone.
When you say he, who are you talking about?
Darrell Brooks.
And you didn't see Mr. Brooks with a knife that day?
No.
What about Nick? Did you see him with a knife?
No.
Did you have a knife?
No.
Corey?
No.
Why do you think Nick said to the police that there was a knife?
Probably to make them come faster.
Who got into the driver's seat at the end of that video?
Darrell Brooks.
And again, anybody in the vehicle at that point?
No.
Other than him?
No.
Let's resume playing from 6:03.
Erika looks so tired. She's like, I'm so sick of this bullshit here. I'm so tired of this shit.
And we can stop it there at 6 minutes and 54 seconds. What did we see in that clip, Ms. Patterson?
I walked away from Corey and Nick because I was mad because me and her started arguing after that because she was mad that I even met up with Mr. Brooks.
Okay.
And then she was running after me.
Do you know the direction that you were walking there?
Straight. And then
That's fair. Watch this
sorry.
confusing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Towards downtown or away from?
Towards downtown. Sorry.
And where did you go after you walked off the screen here?
I just kept walking until they followed me, and then we made a left. I'm not sure which street it was, but we made a left. We didn't know. Yeah. We just made a left turn and went straight towards the women's shelter.
Before you turned off of the street you're walking on here, did you have contact with a police officer?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And you spoke briefly with that officer?
Yes.
And then where'd you go after you spoke with that officer?
Then we left. That's when we made the left across the street and went towards the shelter, women's shelter.
At the moment when Mr. Brooks left the little physical scuffle that we saw there and got into the driver's seat, how would you describe his demeanor?
He was angry.
Okay. How do you know that? What was he saying or doing that led you to believe that?
Besides the fact that he was arguing the whole time and he hit me, he was just mad. He just left very angry. He just drove off fast. He was mad they called the cops.
You don't recall any specific things that he said at that point?
No.
Do you recall what kind of shoes he was wearing?
I do not.
Do you remember meeting with detectives after this and saying that he was wearing blue slides?
I don't recall that,
Okay.
but I'm sure I did.
Can we please pull up for the witness only? Exhibit 5.
Objection. Why is that for the witness? Oh, sorry.
You recognize this photograph? Ms.
Yes.
Patterson?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump ahead there. I'm assuming that Mr. Brooks withdrew that objection.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was my understanding and appreciate that. Okay, go ahead.
And I believe actually Exhibit 5 has already been received and published, so I'd ask to do that again, to publish again.
Permission granted.
Object. Wasn't it supposed to be for the witness only?
The exhibit's previously been received and the state requested permission to publish it once again, and I granted that request.
So when, just so I'm clear, when it's published again, then it's
Correct. When I say permission to publish granted, that means it will be shown to the courtroom and to the jury.
okay. I didn't understand.
That's okay.
Ms. Patterson, who's that in the picture?
That's me.
And that photograph was taken
The day of the parade.
November 21st,
Yes.
the night.
Yes.
And what injuries do we see in that video, in that photograph?
That is my left eye that was swollen.
Your left eye would have been the eye closest to the defendant, based on your description of where you and the defendant were sitting in the vehicle?
Yes.
And how did you sustain that injury?
From him, Mr. Brooks, when he hit me.
Ms. Patterson, did you consent in any way to being struck in the face?
No.
That's all I have for this witness.
All right, thank you. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do.
Time for the harassment.
First of all, good morning
Good morning.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, who is this? I didn't know there was another black dude in the courtroom. Who is this? This is the first time I've seen him. Huh. Interesting.
Thank you.
You stated that you were hanging out with your friend Miss Corey on the day of this incident, correct?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were hanging out drinking?
Yes.
Would it also be fair to say that
See the look on her face? For all of my Anglo-Saxon friends, if you see this look on a sister's face, you should run. That's a look of she's about ready to commit a homicide and get out my face. Just give y'all some Blackanese to help you.
you occasionally drink too much?
Objection, colleagues.
Sustained.
Would it be fair to say that, well, let me back up.
Yeah, back that ass up.
What
Yeah.
were you drinking?
A Mike's Hard beverage.
Were you aware that it was said that you were actually drinking vodka?
No.
Hold on. When there's an objection, I need to rule on it first, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained that mischaracterizes the previous testimony. Next question.
Like, I don't even know what that means.
So it would be fair to say that you were drinking.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that you were a little intoxicated?
I was not.
How much did you drink that day?
1 of a Mike's Hard alcohol beverage.
And around what time of the day was that?
I don't remember.
Was it shortly before meeting up with the alleged defendant, or was it sometime before?
I hate when he says alleged defendant. That pisses me off every time I hear it. An alleged defendant, an alleged defendant.
It was
Dumbass.
before.
Did you have anything to drink after?
No, I did not.
She probably needed one, a strong one.
You stated that you were engaging in a conversation with the alleged defendant via the telephone. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Texas phone calls?
Yes.
Texas.
Were those texts and phone calls of what nature were they of?
Me and Mr. Brooks were arguing throughout the day.
In the texts and phone calls?
Yes, we were.
God dog it. Texas. Texas. Oh, that's annoying. I got a lot of pet peeves. Texas. Hey.
If there were, if the conversation was argumentative, why would you agree to meet up with the alleged defendant?
I do not know.
Because she's still in love with you.
Do you recall,
Idiot?
how the meetup was supposed to be set up?
I don't recall.
Did you at any time ask the alleged defendant to meet up with you?
Well, I told Mr. Brooks where I was.
Did you at any time ask to meet up with the alleged defendant?
No, I did not.
So it would be fair to say that the alleged defendant just came where you were?
Yes, I told you where we were.
And you brought your dusty ass?
Obviously, we were going to hang out. I never told Mr. Brooks to hang out with me. I told him where we were.
So why would, if there was an argumentative conversation prior to you meeting up with the alleged defendant, why would you tell the alleged defendant where you were?
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
You just stated that you really don't know the city of Waukesha. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
So
Because remember, she doesn't have a friend, an imaginary friend there like you have, Magical Marcus and Secret Stephanie. We didn't have any of that happening.
how would you know exactly where you were?
Because I was with Corey and she's familiar with this area.
Would it be fair to say that Corey overheard these conversations between you and the alleged defendant?
Yes, she was my roommate. She heard every conversation almost.
When you say every conversation, what would that
When
refer to?
she was in the room with me, when I was always talking to her.
So it would be fair to say that you were engaged in conversation with the alleged defendant before you even left the women's shelter?
Yes.
And
How the hell was y'all gonna meet up if y'all didn't talk? Dumbass. Even he looking dumbass. Stupid.
those argumentative conversations continue into your hanging out.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's what led you to drink?
No.
The correct answer is yes. Any interaction with Darrell Brooks would lead one to drink, and you would be perfectly fine admitting that.
Would it be fair to say you were drinking because that's what you wanted to do?
Yes.
Is it true that one of the rules and requirements of being at the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol? Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but when I was drinking, it was at Frame Park. I was not at the women's shelter.
Would it be fair to say that you knew you had to come back into the women's shelter at some point that day, that they have a curfew?
Yes. And I made it before curfew.
Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah, back it up now.
You did state that part of the rules and requirements for being in the women's shelter is no drugs and no alcohol, correct?
Yes, it was not in the women's shelter.
That's not what I'm asking. It's part of the requirement and rules of the women's shelter, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yes.
Object, asked and answered twice.
Sustained. Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Is there any type of drug and alcohol testing at the women's shelter?
I don't know. No.
No, or you don't know?
I don't know.
would it be fair to say that if it was found that you were engaging in drugs and alcohol, that you might have lost your place at the women's shelter?
I'll object.
See, bitch, you know what you're doing. You are deliberately trying to get her living situation messed up because you're being vindictive and mean because you're mad at her for surviving and not acquiescing to your demands.
I don't see how this is relevant.
Sustained. Next question.
So around what time were you hanging out with Miss Corey, you said?
I don't remember.
Bitch, you know who.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame
Frame
Park.
Park.
Do you remember where in Frame Park?
No.
And approximately at what time did you meet up with the alleged defendant?
I don't remember.
How long were you with the alleged defendant? Do you remember that?
Approximately 35 minutes.
Do you recall what? Well, you said that during this time you were with the alleged defendant that there was a arguing going on. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Do you remember what that argument was about?
You being a bitch?
He was arguing with me about money because I did not bail him out.
You also said that well, let me back up from that a little bit.
Back it up. Back it up. Back it up.
If you knew that the conversation was becoming volatile, why did you still meet up with the alleged defendant?
I don't know.
To your knowledge, did the alleged defendant know anything about the city of Waukesha?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And what did the alleged defendant know about Waukesha?
He told me, Mr. Brooks told me that his first child's mother lives in Waukesha.
Do you know that to be a fact?
No, that's just what Mr. Brooks told me.
And he's a known liar.
Are you aware?
But he did say that in his interrogation that Xavier's mom lives in Waukesha.
That the alleged defendant, in fact, has no mother of any child that lives in the city of Waukesha?
Objection. If Mr. Brooks wants to testify, he should do so in a different stage of the trial.
Sustained. You don't need to answer that.
Yes, ma'am.
Other than what you can recall about what the alleged defendant told you that they knew about Waukesha, how did the alleged defendant meet up with you in the location that you gave?
Mr. Brooks already knew where Frame Park was. Mr. Brooks previously had been to Waukesha plenty of times before. He's told me that.
Uh-oh.
And when was that told to you, and what conversation? Was it that day?
Before that. I'm not sure which day it was. I just know he knows about Waukesha.
Mm-hmm. And it's still dirty, Cheryl.
So would it be fair to say that when you told the alleged defendant where you were, that the alleged defendant knew exactly where you were?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
And how would the alleged defendant know that?
Because Mr. Brooks already knew Waukesha. He knew exactly where to go.
Did you at any time give directions where you may have been?
How could I give directions when I barely knew Waukesha myself?
Uh-oh.
Is that a no?
That's a no, sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
So
Ooh, she ready to erupt.
if you barely knew Waukesha yourself, where did you get the information of where you were from, where you were at the time of the conversation via telephone?
I left the women's shelter with Corey, and she knows that location. She told me what Frame Park was. I didn't know the name.
Would it be fair to say, assuming from what you just said, that you
My
were
God, he is
with the
worse.
alleged defendant for approximately around 30 minutes or so?
Yes.
And during that time, did you make any disparaging remarks or anything to entice the argument to escalate?
Oh, so it's her fault. It's her fault. I love how males are, I'm a man and I deal with men stuff, and you women, y'all are emotional, y'all do this, but yet and still we're the ones responsible for your reaction. We say something and then your reaction is to pop us in the face because you can't handle your emotions, bitch.
No.
So you didn't say anything at all during your 30 minutes with the alleged defendant?
No, because I was crying the whole time because Mr. Brooks was yelling at me, arguing with me.
Being abusive.
So you said absolutely nothing at all?
I was crying the whole time.
Did you say anything?
No.
A few more things.
No.
Few more questions.
Just get on with it.
Okay.
You said that during this, well, once you had got out of the vehicle, as you say,
The vehicle,
you stated that your friend Miss Corey pulled you away from the vehicle because it swerved.
Yes, it was in the video.
You do know that we just saw the video. Would that be fair to say?
Yes, but there's two angles of the video.
Well, we only saw one, so I'm referring to the video that we saw.
Corey pulled me out the way when Mr. Brooks made a U-turn, and you almost swerved into Miss Patterson, which is me.
You almost tried to kill her again.
Would it be fair to say that the video does not show that?
There's different angles, but the video does not show that, the video we watched.
So the video that we just watched, that the jury just saw, there is no swerving of the vehicle and you being pulled back. Would that be fair to
From
say?
that far angle, you can kind of see it.
You can see it.
Yes.
Yes.
Would that be fair to say? That
You
there's-
answered the question, Mr. Brooks. Next question. Under 906.
.11 sub 1 sub C, I direct your attention to that next question.
Do you recall what was said during the altercation between is it Miss Corey and the alleged defendant?
No, I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you were standing right there?
Mr. Brooks. Next question.
What's
Under
happening?
906.
.11 sub 1 sub C, I direct your attention to that next question.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. What was I about to say? Tell me, who do y'all think is a better attorney? Adrian Love or Darrell Brooks? Those of y'all who've been watching YSL. Who's better, Love or Brooks?
Do you recall what was said during the altercation between is it Miss Corey?
Damn.
And the alleged defendant?
No, I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you were standing right there?
Yes, I just don't remember what was being said.
Do you recall reporting anything that may have been said during that incident?
No.
Did you give a statement to anything that may have been said during that incident?
No.
Was anything directed towards you verbally in that incident?
Yeah.
Yes. Corey told Mr. Brooks, don't ever hit my effing friend again.
And I guarantee you, Corey said that with some bass in her voice. You better not touch my motherfucking friend again, bitch. She said with some bass in her voice. And I believe her.
I remember that part. That was in the beginning.
Do you remember anything else that may have been said?
No.
Do you recall anything being said by Nick to the alleged defendant?
Alleged defendant.
No.
Do you recall the alleged defendant saying anything to Nick?
No. I don't remember.
You right though, Chantal. You right.
And you also stated that right after this incident, you talked to law enforcement. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
At any time, did you report any abuse?
Yes.
Dumbass.
And what did you report?
That you hit me?
Why the hell would you ask this question? Why?
And you gave a statement to that effect?
No, not to that police officer, but the detectives at the women's shelter.
Well, I'm referring to right during,
I don't remember
after the incident.
I don't remember what I told that police officer.
Just one quick second. I'm reading from the statement, if I may.
You may.
I do too, Vizzini. Love is horrible. Yes, she's awful. She's awful.
Do you remember what was said by the alleged defendant when that incident ended?
No, I do not remember.
Hey, AO.
Do you remember reporting in your statement that the last thing he said to me was FUD, erase my number? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
Would it be fair to say that you reported that this was said?
I don't remember.
Hey, Debbie C.
Do you remember giving a statement to that effect?
No.
Would it be fair to say that you gave a statement?
No, I don't remember. I gave a statement to the detectives at the women's center.
So
That's
would
what
it
I
be
remember.
fair? I'm sorry, I didn't know.
We've done answering.
Yes.
All right, next question.
Would it be fair to say that your memory is kind of cloudy of that day because you were intoxicated?
No.
No.
There's a lot of things in this statement that you don't seem to remember. Is that fair to say?
Sustained. Next question.
And you traumatized the girl.
Would it be fair to say that you reported 2 different incidents?
Yes.
Here we go.
Do you remember the dates of those incidents that you
The
reported?
20th and the 21st.
Would it be fair to say that there was no incident on the 20th?
No.
Dumbass.
Would it be fair to say that
Oh, Addison. Oh, yeah, you said
you were
Addison was the lady.
initially not truthful with law enforcement?
No.
Do you recall making a statement to law enforcement on November the 22nd of 2021?
I don't remember. I made this statement on the 21st of the day of the parade when I met the detectives that night.
Do you recall making a second statement the next day or the next morning rather, which would have been the 22nd of November, 2021?
Yes, I did actually. Yes, I did.
Do you recall what you reported that day?
I told them about the 20th when I met with Mr. Brooks, and all we did was argue. And you hit me then too.
So you reported incidents for 2 days in a row.
Yes.
Yeah, you abused her 2 days in a row.
Do you recall at any time telling law enforcement that you were not truthful and wanted to be truthful at that point?
No.
So you never made a statement to your knowledge that you fabricated a reported abuse incident?
No.
1 second here. I'm reading from that.
I don't understand. You knew that Erika Patterson was going to get called. If nobody was going to get called, she would be called. Why would you not have picked up this statement that you are reading, live in the trial? Why wouldn't you pick this up to read and formulate some questions? He is as bad as Adrian Love is, and that's shameful to even compare them, because she allegedly went to school and she's a professor, and she's been a prosecutor for a long time apparently, but she's another one that likes to put cases together on the fly, and it doesn't work.
To the best of your knowledge, do you remember talking with a detective? I don't want to butcher this name, Your Honor. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Spell it, that's helpful.
A detective, Behrенdt.
Bertrand?
Detective Barron? Is it a detective or an officer?
It says
Or
detective,
Barron?
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Okay, ask your question.
Do you remember speaking with that detective?
Yes.
Do you remember what you reported to that detective?
I don't remember.
I'm reading directly from the statement, Your Honor, if I may.
Who cares? Just do it.
Do you remember reporting to that detective saying you were not completely forthright with all of the information that you had given because you were afraid to get other people involved in your drama or your business?
I don't remember that.
And I'll object and move to strike based
On
Other evidence.
I think I'm safe in saying that that is not from the report which the defendant is referring to.
The objection is sustained. I'll grant the motion to strike by the state of the question and any response that may have been elicited before I address the objection.
He's like, I'm reading from the report.
Your Honor, quick question on that. I'm reading directly from the report.
She's like, and your point?
Next question, Mr. Brooks.
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Okay.
Putting the case together on the fly.
I apologize for that, Your Honor. Do you remember at any time speaking with Officer Guth?
Yes.
And do you recall on what date that was?
November 21st.
Day
Do you
you kill
remember what
people.
you reported on November the 21st?
That me and Mr. Brooks, I met with Mr. Brooks at Frame Park. Me and Mr. Brooks got into an altercation. You hit me. I jumped out of your car and I walked and met my friend Corey. You followed me. And then after that, Nick and Miss Corey, they called the police officer. And then you drove off.
Just 1 second, Your Honor.
Bruh.
Do you recall reporting to Officer Guth that you were not completely forthright with the information that you reported?
I don't remember. And no, actually, no, I did not say that. I apologize.
So reading from what was reported to Officer Guth states that what I learned from Erika Patterson was that when I spoke to her on the previous evening with Officer Darrell, was that the pronunciation, Your Honor?
It doesn't matter.
I don't have it in front of me, I'm not sure.
She was not completely forthright with all of the information she had given. Would that be fair to say?
What was your question?
He don't know.
Do you recall in your reporting to Officer Guth that you were not forthright with the information that you gave?
No, I don't recall that.
That's
so
what
to the
Officer
best of
Guth
your
said.
recollection, at any time that you reported incidents to any law enforcement, at any time do you recall being untruthful?
No.
So do you remember the date and time of the first incident that you allege?
I don't remember the time, but it was November 20th.
Do you remember what time of day that may have been?
I just said I don't remember.
Do you remember where you were at?
Frame Park.
With you.
So would it be fair to say that both alleged incidents that you are alleging happened at Frame Park?
The second
Both alleged incidents that you're alleging.
incident on November 21st did not happen in Frame Park. We were driving around and he hit me.
What
The
I'm
first
asking
incident.
is where you were at when you met up.
Frame Park, yes.
On
That's
both,
not what you
on both
just
alleged
said.
occasions?
Yes. That's how Mr. Brooks knew where Frame Park is. He already knew Waukesha area in the first place.
Same park.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were at in Frame Park?
No, it was in the parking lot. The first side of the parking lot. Kind of by the baseball field, I think that is.
Doesn't matter.
Do you recall who you were with?
Nobody. I was with Corey on November 21st, and the first day on November 20th, I was by myself.
So it would be fair to say that you went to the park alone?
Yes. I met up with Mr. Brooks intentionally on the 20th. Yes.
Quit being stupid.
Were you drinking that day?
No.
She should have been, and she wasn't.
And how did you know how to get to Frame Park, as you call it?
I knew how to get to Frame Park. I'd been the previous times before that with Miss Corey.
And you know, it was 2022 at the time. Technology has progressed in a way that you can activate, the map, Google Maps on your phone, and you can see exactly where you are. We haven't used paper maps in an awfully long time. So even if she's lost, she can still find where she is. That's the purpose of having a smartphone. Even though you just got your phone before you got popped by your mama, She got you your first iPhone, remember? Uh-huh.
Walking past it, I knew how to get there because Corey walked with me that day too. I just was not with her. She walked towards there with me.
And so then you separated?
Yes.
Get with your dusty ass, yes.
Did you separate from Miss Corey at any time during the 21st?
Yes, I did. She left with Nick and I was with Mr. Darrell Brooks.
Do you recall, to the best of your knowledge, that it may have been someone else that she was with, that was with you that day?
What?
She was by her. Which day? Are you clarifying? Which day?
November the 21st of 2021.
She was with Nick that day.
The entire day?
Yes.
And you guys separated from that point?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say you guys separated after hanging out and drinking?
Mr. Brooks, under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, you need to move on to a new topic. You've been over this multiple times. It's been asked, it's been answered, and now it's under my authority under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, you need to move on.
So to the best of your knowledge, well, let me back up. How did you communicate with the alleged defendant on November 20th of 2021?
Phone calls.
Strictly phone calls, texts?
Both. Mostly phone calls.
Do you remember what was said in those texts and phone calls?
Same conversation we had on the 21st. He was mad because I wasn't giving him money from not bailing him out.
She threw.
So why would you meet up with the alleged defendant that day?
Because I just wanted to. We have a 15-year-old together. I mean, I was always going to talk to you then.
Do you remember if there was any agreed upon meeting up that day?
Yes.
By you, by the alleged defendant?
Both.
Do you remember the reason why you were meeting up?
I just said why.
So it would have been just to conversate?
Just to conversate.
Converse. Converse. Conversate does not exist. There's no word. There's no conversate. It's converse. Sorry, it's another pet peeve of mine.
Would it be fair to say that you could have communicated strictly by the phone?
Yes.
Objection.
Under 906.11, sub 1, sub C, the objection is sustained. Next topic, if you have one, Mr. Brooks.
You said that you came to Wisconsin from another state. Would that be fair to say?
Atlanta, Georgia, yes. June 13th, 2021.
She tired. She tired of you.
And why did you leave Georgia?
We were coming out here for 2 weeks, and I never went back.
Can you state why you never went back?
Number one, I came out here, I didn't have money. Number two, I had no way to get back. And you were always, Mr. Brooks was always physical.
So, meaning she was afraid of you. She was afraid of what would happen if she left you, because you're the type that likes to stalk people and beat them. And what else? And you are an ain't shit bitch, because if she came to be with you for the 2 weeks, you should have had provisions for her, being the alleged man and all. You were supposed to have taken care of her because she was coming to see you in your hometown. And the best that you could do was have her outside of your mama's house in her vehicle. I wish I could have taken over Erika's body.
Any time were you ever
offered money to go back to Georgia, or did anybody at any time ever?
No.
Did anybody at any time ever lend any help to help you go back to Georgia?
No.
That was responsibility,
Did
sir.
you, to the best of your recollection, did you want to go back to Georgia?
Objection. No.
Sustained.
No one
Next
cares.
Question, please.
So why didn't you file a report with law enforcement on November the 20th after you alleged that you were abused?
It's always the 20th.
Because I've been dealing with it for so many years, I just didn't do it. I don't see what this has anything to do with this case.
Not shit.
How long have you known the alleged defendant again?
Since I was 15. I'm 32 now.
So you groomed her.
Would it be fair to say that you lived in different states from the alleged defendant?
Yes, but I.
Oh, I'm sorry, that there was.
I was gonna object and ask
For clarification on the timeline there.
I'll sustain the objection, rephrase the question.
I was going to get to that, Your Honor. Would it be fair to say that during the duration of the time knowing the alleged defendant, that the majority of that time you did not live in the same area or state?
Yeah, off and on. I met Mr. Brooks in Reno, Nevada. I moved out of Reno, Nevada in 2017 to Atlanta, Georgia. I moved Mr. Brooks throughout. I've known him throughout, back and forth, off and on. The whole 16 years, me and Mr. Brooks were not together, but it was off and on.
Did you guys live in the same area off and on during that time?
objection. Ask and answer.
Sustained.
Look at her face.
Out of the 16 years you said it was, correct?
Yes, off and on, Mr. Brooks.
How much of that time did you actually spend with the alleged defendant?
Objection, Your Honor.
Too much
Sustained.
time.
Also under 906.11 sub 1 sub C. Move on.
When a woman
At the time of this alleged incident, were you and the alleged defendant in any kind of relationship?
Yes.
And were you a couple? Were you just co-parenting, or what was the nature of the relationship?
Well, y'all were never co-parenting because you would have to actually be a parent to co-parent, and you were never there. So there was no co-parenting anything. So I can answer that question for
We
you.
were together. I wouldn't have came to Milwaukee, Wisconsin if I was not with him.
So it'd be fair to say that you were in a committed relationship?
Yes.
Oh, make sure he makes sure he pissing on his tree and letting all of y'all know this was my property. This is my bitch. And she was my bitch then.
One second, I'm just going over something.
When a woman's fed up, not a high you bet, no, there ain't nothing you can do about it.
Would it be fair to say
it's like running out of love?
I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Go ahead. No, there was a water bottle being provided.
It's too late to talk about it.
How did before you came back into contact with the alleged defendant, how long had it been since you had seen the alleged defendant?
I don't know, but it's years, a couple years.
I bet that's the most peaceful time of your life.
It would be fair to say that there was a significant gap in between interactions with the alleged defendant.
Yes.
Question relevance.
Sustained, however, she provided the answer. It may stand. Next question.
La 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 la.
So during your time, well, approximately how long were you staying around the alleged defendant before this incident on November 21st took place?
I don't know the exact time. I just answered your question. I don't know the exact time.
Were there any separations or gaps during that time?
Objection relevance.
Sustained.
I want to know if you was having an affair with what's his name? Nick. I want to know if there was some milk in your Cocoa Puffs. I want to know there's some milk in your Cocoa Puffs. So that's why I'm asking this question.
At any time during these alleged incidents, were you with someone other than Miss Corey?
Corey and Nick the day of the 21st, and then we separated and I met back up with them.
Any time during that day, were you with anyone else besides those two that you just named?
Mr. Brooks, you.
Oh, hey, Resident Evil.
What about the alleged incident on the 20th?
I left with Miss Corey, and then she went a whole different direction, and I went to Frame Park and met up with Mr. Brooks.
Hey, Munchkin. Hey, Munchkin. Good sweet boy. A good boy. And my milk with my Cocoa Puffs. Milk and my Cocoa Puffs. That milk with my Cocoa Puffs.
Recollection, you were not drinking on both of those days that you cite, the 20th or the 21st.
The 20th.
Hold on. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I'm stopping this cross-examination. You've asked the same question, multiple questions, multiple times. And at this point, I'm going to declare that the opportunity to cross is now concluded.
I didn't know that was the same question, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, it's been asked and answered multiple times. So with that, I'm going to turn to the state to see if they have any redirect.
Just some brief clarification.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Patterson, after the parade incident, which took place after the video we saw, right?
Yes.
Okay. You remember meeting with Detectives Jessica Barron and Steve Guth that night?
Yes.
Okay. And you gave a statement to them that night, correct?
Yes.
You gave a second statement to Detective Guth the next day. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Thank you, Resident Evil.
So let's talk very briefly about that first statement, the night of the 21st, the night of the parade incident.
Yes.
You told them about an incident that had happened between you and the defendant on November 20th. Is that right?
Yes.
And you also told them about an argument that you had had with the defendant on the 21st. Is that right?
Yes.
But you left out the part about any physical violence on the 21st. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then when you met with Detective Guth for your second statement on the 22nd, that's when you confirmed that there had been violence with Mr. Brooks on the 21st. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Well, they seen my eye on the 21st when they came, so I did let them know about the incident on the 21st. I did. The next day, I let him know about the incident on the 20th. Is what happened.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
To make it better. Sorry.
He like, look at this shit here. You gonna let this? You gonna let this go?
Thank you. You may step
Thank
down.
you, Your Honor.
Hey, I'm like, that's some bullshit. How y'all gonna let it walk off the stand?
All right, and any reason to keep her under subpoena from the state?
No.
From the defense?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have a subpoena for her?
to my understanding, I was supposed to.
All right, I'll take that up in a little bit. For now, I'd ask that she be maintained under the state subpoena until I can clarify that issue.
All right, peoples. Well, I'm going to call it there. I've been on longer than I had anticipated, but I wanted to finish up the direct and the cross of Ms. Patterson since it went with, the earlier portion of the sentencing. So we will pick this back up. I promise I will not be away so long. I will pick this back up at this point. And also, I will come back with some more. Tiffany Henyard. I see that you guys like Tiffany, my hood booger mare. Let me see what else I need to say here. Yes. So yeah, we'll pick this back up. Yes, thank you, Resident Evil, for subbing. Thank you all for coming through, who's spent this time with me this evening. Thanks to all who have hit that like button and subbed. Please make sure before you leave that you hit it on your way out if you have not done so I can stay in the algorithms. All right. Well, again, thank you so much. Y'all be safe out there in this weather if you are in the South like me. And last thing is drums, please.
Drums, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have had a great time tonight. We have truly enjoyed ourselves, and we would like to thank you for being a part of the show and coming to visit this platform. Live on YouTube, Auntie Miracle B. Make sure you come back, because it's always live each and every time. Auntie Miracle B.